back, and we're talking about how installment loans, mortgage loans, and all those good things that you can get uh, to build your credit score and um, live great in America. Uh, we left off with how how things can negatively impact your credit score. Um, I want to talk a little bit more about on that to kind of focus in a little bit more on that. Now, this won't be the end of the lesson, but I'm sure as we go down through this study that we will be able to uh, pull some things. We can answer some questions at the end of this lesson. There will be a a number to call. I work at Renton Center. I'm actually on Telegraph Road, 290 Telegraph North Telegraph Road, Pontiac, Michigan. My number 248-842-5698. You can also reach me at work 248-874-1060. Uh, I'm going to leave the message again. It's providing the information. So anytime, any questions, any consultations, and things like that. I'm throwing a lot of things out. I'm saying a lot of words, but I'm sure we can get some things resolved. We can get some businesses started for you if you'd like to have that done. But you should have a successful season even after listening to this here. Um, Now, how these things can impact your credit score. First things first, payment history. Very, very, very important. If your payment history is not in line, it's going to hit you really, really bad. Uh, the amount you owe on everything, like we said earlier, for example, if you had $80,000 worth of debt totally on your credit report, it can affect you positively or negatively. Depends on how much you have paid off. The length of time on the credit history. Um, Not so heavily, done or cared about on your credit report, but it could kind of affect it if you need one or two, maybe 10 points. The types of credit you use actually has an impact on how your credit score is rated. Like if you got a department store card, it's not really going to report too positively on your credit report unless that vendor actually reports to the credit bureau and give you a good rating. The only time a department store normally will probably give a good give a rating will be if you go delinquent or you default on your account. That means uh, you may pay the bill late, 60 days, 90 days late. That's going to report negatively. It'll never report positively. But there are vendors that will actually report for your credit. While we're on that, so we can have the focus here, Quill.com. Uh, it's a couple other things. I'm going to actually go back over the studies and give out some things that will probably help out with building your credit. Quill.com is probably a a um, a business standpoint, a business vendor. So if you're thinking about business, that would be good for you. Uline, that's a business one, but there are ways you can work on that and get that taken care of. Office Max Staples, they deal with that. But those are a few things, and we'll get to them later. The payment history, the most important thing on a credit report. 35% of what you do with your payment history is going to negatively affect your credit score or positively affect it. So if you got a bunch of delinquent accounts and it shows a track record of you paying your bills 60 days, 30, 60 days late, you're going to majorly bring your credit score down. That could be in a matter of 60 days, you can bring that down because it's reported at 35% rating. This is how they rate your score. This is how they bring your score. This is how they actually uh, approve or not approve you. These are the things that we're talking about here. The amount owed, as I said earlier, for example, 80 or 100,000, doesn't matter how large. If your If you owe more than what you're bringing in, than what your income is coming in, then your debt to income ratio is the next largest factor in approving you for a loan or having a good credit score. 30%, 30% is on the amount owed. So as we can see already, we pointed out two things: the payment history and the amount owed. They can take your credit score way down if it's not, kind of in line there. The length of time you owe on the credit, that is 15%. So 15% of the rating goes to how long have you been owing a balance on a charge card or on an installment loan, a car loan or a school loan. How long did it take you to pay it off? The new credit, I didn't get a chance to mention that yet, but 10%, it's sort of like the inquiry, but 10% you applied and you got approved. So it's going to pull on that credit score and rate it within 10%. Then the types of credit used, definitely want to watch that. That's 10% as well. So department store cars are good, and some other businesses are good, but you have to make sure that they're reporting. That's the only good thing about it. The downside to it is that it only counts for 10%, but it could be a good side if you need 10% to bring your rating back up.